Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to do 2 simple and easy parrot toys. Like always, let's start with what you will need. Some dowels, and I just bought this at my local craft store. You can buy them at Home Depot or Lowe's or home improvement stores. And this is just another one. This is how you can get it too. You can get it just like one big piece. And depends on the size of your bird. This depends on the size of the dowels you want to get. You want to get popsicle sticks, and I got the bigger size ones. You're going to need some twine. And I just got these little wooden beads also at my local craft store, but you want to make sure that they're bird safe. You're going to need some food coloring and some scissors. Some kind of measuring device. Plates, I would use glass ones just so it doesn't stain. And this is just me. You don't have to use different containers, but these are for the balls just because I feel like I can put more water, more food coloring in it. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to need is your dowels, your measuring device, and a pencil or pen. And these are the dowels that I've been using to make most of Kiwi's toys now, just because I feel like they're easier to handle. They're shorter. It has a better length to it, less cuts that I have to make. And it's also, I feel, cheaper than buying it the other way around. But that's just me. And what you're going to do is you're going to try to measure it depending on what you get and the size of your bird, of course. You're going to cut it to size. I believe I used 3.5 inches because it's just going to be a small ladder that I'm placing on Kiwi's, her play stand. So you just want to go ahead and measure that, and you want to measure or decide how many you're going to get. The next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and cut them. You can use a handsaw too if you don't have one of these. My husband did help me just because it was easier for me just to hold the camera and then him cut them than me bring all my stuff outside with me. But it's relatively easy, and sometimes if you go to a hardware store, they will cut them for you depending on where you go and who's there. Next, you want to go ahead and smooth out the edges of where you've cut them. Obviously, you don't want your bird to get hurt or get splinters. And you just grab any kind of sanding paper that you have or sanding block and just kind of smooth it around like I'm doing right here. Really easy, and you can do it super quick. It only takes a few seconds each round. Now, the next step is, I believe, one of my favorites. I'm not really sure why. I guess because it's bright and colorful and you can kind of mix and match whatever colors you want. But you're going to need your glass containers, and you're going to need some water. And you're just going to fill them up as much as you can with water. And you're also going to need your food coloring. And food coloring is relatively safe for birds. Just there's no chemicals or anything really in it. If you do have doubts, please go ahead and research it. Make sure that the brand that you're getting is okay. But for the most part, it's not bad. For this particular batch of toys, I did stick with their primary colors. However, I have gone back and gotten the neon colors, and they both work just fine, so it depends on which colors you want. I chose primary this time around because I felt like you can mix and match colors and make new colors. It's completely up to you on what you want to use. But you want to make sure to stir them really, really well. You want to make sure that the color is spread out throughout all the water so that when you place your wooden pieces in here, they can be evenly dyed. However, I did find that it is better if you completely submerge the wooden pieces. Some of the wooden balls only got really dark, bright colors on one side. So the next time that I did it, I just placed something on top of them so they were completely underwater, so that all of them were dyed completely the same. With the little popsicle sticks, I did the same thing. I added more water to the plates, I added more food coloring, and I also put another plate on top of them so that they would be completely submerged. So after I let them soak overnight, I took them out and let them dry for a couple hours, and this is what they turned out looking like. As you can see, the green ones aren't as bright as the red ones, and even the two red ones, you can see the difference. So I do I do suggest that you submerge them and put as much food coloring and water as you can. These are the balls, like I said before, you can kind of see that some of them are brighter than the others, or you can see where it flipped. Alright, now for the fun part. Let's start actually assembling these toys. The first thing you're going to need is your twine. You're going to need a pair of scissors. And you're also going to need a drill with a drill bit that's the size of the twine that you bought. Now, you're going to need popsicle sticks, and I would suggest doing 2 at a time just so that they don't break. If you do more than 2, you have to apply more pressure, and sometimes you can break them. And you just want to go ahead and start drilling random. I just do it random, I try to do it in the middle, but I don't really measure them out. And you want to do this to all the pieces, or all the popsicle sticks that you've purchased or dyed. These are really simple toys that if you go to a pet store or any kind of bird store, they're going to cost you $6 to $7, and you can literally make a bajillion of them with that much money at home, and they're super easy. Now you want to go ahead and cut your twine the length that you wish. I always do a little bit extra just because I want to make sure that I have enough, and twine is really cheap. When you tie your first hole, you want to make sure to leave space at the top so you can actually tie it to the cage or the stand or wherever it is you're doing. I start off with a ball, but again, you can do a popsicle stick first or a ball. I usually try to do more than one ball just so there's enough space between each popsicle stick. Kiwi literally destroys these in 2 hours. So she doesn't really care how they are. I just like it. Sometimes she'll leave 3 or 4 of them on there for later. But literally she destroys them like in 2 hours. These are one of her favorite toys. And like you saw me do here, if the end of the twine starts to get kind of rough and you can't really get the balls or the popsicle sticks in, just go ahead and cut them. That's why I do grab so much even though I'm not using it all, because sometimes it does happen where the twine starts to unravel and it's really hard to get it into the holes. And you pretty much just keep with the pattern. You can change it up if you like. You can add as many popsicle sticks as you like. If you're using the smaller, thinner popsicles, you might want to do 2 at a time, or put like a ball, a popsicle stick, a ball, and a popsicle stick. This kind of breaks it up. And if you go to your local bird stores, this is exactly the same thing that they're trying to charge you, like I said, $6 or $7 for. So this is my finished product, and this leaves Kiwi enough room so she can play with each individual popsicle stick. Okay, now let's move on to the second toy, and it's going to be this really easy rope ladder. And all you really need to do is knots. That's all you really need to do for this end of the project. And this ladder, you can make it as long or as short as you want, depending if you're going to put it on the play stand or in the cage, or make it a bridge and connect the play stand to the actual cage. Here I'm showing you just what it looks like. The first thing you do is obviously you make your 2 knots, and then you put your little, dowel piece in, and then you do 2 more knots, one on each side. And you want to make these as tight as possible. You don't want the dowel piece to be able to move back and forth. You want it to be nice and secure. I don't really measure the space between each dowel to be exact. I kind of just eyeball it. But if you want to, obviously you can measure it out to be exact. You just want it to be similar just so that your bird doesn't trip or fall off the ladder when it's climbing up or down. In order to try to make this video a little bit shorter, I didn't show me drilling the holes on the dowels, but they're the same exact way that you do them for the popsicle sticks, using the same exact drill bit. I know I said this earlier in the video about the size of your dowel depends on the size of your bird, but you also have to keep in mind that if you're going to be using bigger size dowels, you probably want to be using a little bit thicker twine just to make sure that it can actually hold it and can hold the weight of your bird. If I'm not mistaken, on the back of the twine it tells you exactly what the weight is that it could hold or, sustain at any given point. Originally started making this particular rope ladder, I was making it for Kiwi's main play stand down in the living room. But couple weeks prior, my brother, who has 3 cockatiels, had come over and he saw the one that I had made for her play stand that we have upstairs in our bedroom, and he really liked it. So I ended up giving him this one, but I made another one for Kiwi, and as you can see with this one, I'm going to insert a picture right now. I didn't dye this one, I just left the natural wood, but you make it the same exact way, and here it is on her play stand. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope to enjoy, and please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.